Hey everybody, it's Glenn, back in this video with something different. Today I am reviewing Scooby-Doo action figures. Why? I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I picked these figures up. They were £20. There's 10 figures, £2 an action figure. I thought that was pretty reasonable, and I thought reviewing them might provide a bit of a giggle for you guys watching, so I went ahead and picked them up. I'm not a Scooby-Doo fan, really. Even as a kid, when the cartoon came on, I was always kind of like, oh, Scooby-Doo, why isn't He-Man on? But I shall proceed to review these action figures like I do care about them. Which may be hard, we'll see. I guess before I proceed any further, I just want to get out of the way. Scooby-Doo! Say obligatory Scooby-Doo impression there. Was that any good? Let me try again. Scooby-Doo! In my head that sounds brilliant. But then again, in my head when I sing, I sound like Whitney Houston. Yet I know when I sing at karaoke, from the look of horror on people's faces, I sound quite far from what Whitney Houston sounds like. But happy for you to judge my Scooby-Doo impression. So the figures come in this carry case. Features a handle on the top, which is cool. I'm just going to flip them over to the back because I can mention the figures in this set with the benefit of having their names there, which I wouldn't remember otherwise. So we get Scooby-Doo, Daphne, Fred, Shaggy, Velma, 10,000 Volt Ghost, Witch Doctor, Ghost Racer, the Ghost of Redbeard, and the Beast of Bottomless Lake. So I'm gonna open this set and show these bad boys and girls off. So starting here with Scooby-Doo, of course. I mean, where else would you start? Fortunately, the back of the packaging did provide some biographical information for each of the Scooby-Doo crew, so we get an insight into their various motivations. And reading from said back of packaging, Scooby-Doo, name Scoobert, nickname Scooby, age 7, I guess in dog years. How old does that make him? Is it 7 dog years to a human year? 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42, 48 years old is Scooby-Doo. Wow. Old enough to be my father. Ambition: to eat more Scooby snacks. I'm not sure how Scooby snacks came to be slang for heroin. Is it just because Scooby here was so mad crazy for them? Is that why? Who knows? Anyway, whenever I think of Scooby-Doo now, I always think of that fun-loving criminal song, Scooby Snacks. You guys know that? Running around, robbing banks, all whacked on our Scooby Snacks. Now you can't say I didn't warn you about my singing, right? Scooby-Doo dislikes: ghosts, witches, monsters, and demons. Which Scooby-Doo seems to run into in every episode. And of course, if he was a real dog, those wouldn't be real dog dislikes. I guess what do real dogs fear? I guess just generally being left tied to the central reservation of a highway, deserted by their owner. So let's go over the articulation here, if anybody actually cares. He articulates at the head, his tail articulates, and he features 2 points of articulation on each leg. Curiously, and I've tried with this, I can't actually really get him to pose with all his legs sitting flat on the floor. I guess that's handy if Scooby ever sees a fire hydrant, he can easily relieve himself. Next up, it's Daphne, reading from her cardback bio. Real name Daphne Blake. Hair perfect. Really? She's ginger. Daphne wouldn't have stood a chance at the high school I went to. She'd have been bullied and terrorised to no end. Bless her, the poor carrot top. Her age, 16. Please, who is she trying to kid? 16. Ambition, to be a famous mystery writer. Likes solving mysteries and looking good. Well, Daphne, we'll be the judge of that. And to go over her articulation, she barely articulates at the head because of her flowing ginger locks. She has shoulder and elbow articulation, and she articulates at the knee there. That's Daphne. Next up is poor Fred. His real name, Fred Jones. His dress, sweater, ascot, slacks and monk boots. Whatever monk boots are, I guess those are those. Age 17, again, really? These guys are teenagers? Who knew? Does Fred look 17 to you? I guess to get away with that on his online dating profile, he'd have to post a picture of his son. Ambition, to be a successful inventor. His likes, a challenge. I bet he does, walking around in daylight. On the streets wearing a neckerchief, you bloody must like a challenge. I'm sure people are shouting all manner of abuse at you. But me, myself, as you all know, I'm a proud man-bag-carrying metrosexual. So I'm not quite at the neckerchief level yet, but I'm going to pat Fred here on the back for doing all metrosexuals proud. We're rocking the neckerchief. In terms of articulation, Fred features the same as Daphne, except without ginger flowing locks. His head does move side to side a fair bit more, except that is when he's wearing a ginger wig and pretending to be Daphne on a Friday night in your local gay club. Next up is Shaggy, real name Norville Rogers. Hair messy. Age 17 again. I thought Shaggy was like, I don't know how old, 35 maybe? 17. Ambition, none. Likes, whatever's edible. Open brackets, smokable, close brackets. It doesn't actually say that, I just added the smokable part. But I think when I say smokable, we all know what we're talking about. The articulation, as with the previous two figures, it's shoulders, elbows, hips, knees and head, articulating on an impossibly small neck there. But I like that posture. Quite good attention to detail on these figures. It's like they've stepped straight out of the cartoon. Next up, Velma. Her name, Velma Kelly. Give 'em the old razzle dazzle. It's not really Velma Kelly, that's a Chicago joke there if you've not seen the musical. Her name is Velma Dinkley. Eyes, she's got two of them. No, eyes not so good. Age 15. Ambition, to get into Mensa. She likes science, logic, puzzles and mysteries. And features, I'm sure, the same articulation as the rest of her Scooby friends. Looks like her hand there is posed to hold something. She never came with any accessory. I'm sure, knowing Velma, it's probably a pencil or something. Not to stereotype brainy people any more than they possibly have with Velma here. So that's the friends portion of this action figure collection out the way, and now moving on to the foes. First up here is the 10,000 volt Ghost. And he looks like the maddest gummy candy I ever did see. He does look quite edible, doesn't he? Something about him just makes me want to put him in my mouth and swallow him, which I won't because I'm sure that's a choking hazard. So I have no idea from, I've never really watched Scooby cartoons, so I don't know about these foes, their history. Unfortunately, unlike Scooby's crew, we're not provided with any biographical information on them. But 10,000 volt ghost, I guess, is just a big walking mess of electricity. He features shoulder and elbow articulation, articulates at the hips and the knees. Moving on to the witch doctor here, who is blessed with this skull staff accessory. Articulates at the shoulders. Yep, that's pretty much it. You get 2 points of articulation on this guy. And it does look like his mask should come off, but that's one moulded piece there. I guess if you've seen the cartoon, you know who the witch doctor is. That could be anybody, couldn't it? Well, it couldn't be anybody. We know it's a white guy. That's not Barack Obama or Wesley Snipes under there, is it? Next up is Ghost Racer. Perhaps brother to Marvel's Ghost Rider? Who knows? Yet likewise, perhaps in the next Scooby-Doo straight-to-DVD sequel, perhaps they can cast Nicolas Cage as Ghost Racer. I assume from his posture he is kind of supposed to be riding something. Not sure what. I guess maybe just an invisible motorcycle. Oh dear, someone call 911. Next up is the Ghost of Redbeard here. Quite a good looking figure. I like these foes, but let's face it, he's no Johnny Depp in the Pirates of Caribbean, is he? I mean, this is the Ghost of Redbeard, so I'm not sure what Redbeard himself died of. Perhaps it was from being crap at sword fights because he only has 2 points of articulation. It's the Beast of Bottomless Lake, who I just love the name alone. And I'm holding him up because he's practically incapable of standing. He tends to lean on his tail there. Maybe if we use his articulation, we can maybe get him into more of a standing pose, can we? No, probably not. He kind of still looks a bit like he's leaning. But I like this figure. Isn't he good looking? Good looking figure there. Got that lovely fin on the back. His tail does articulate. Plus we get a whole heap of articulation compared to the other figures. As I mentioned, the tail, the shoulders, the elbows, the hips, the knees. The mind boggles. He's practically a Marvel legend. So that completes my Scooby-Doo showcase. And that's a sentence I never thought I would say. And just look at these beauties. My collection of Scooby-Doo figures has gone from 0 to 10 in a single day. Who knew when I went to the toy shop today I would bring these suckers home? Please comment, rate and subscribe, and I hope I will see you in the next video. Bye.